Hey everyone, it's Mr. Montgomery back with a new math video. We did a lot over the past couple days learning about doubles facts and near doubles facts and just adding 1 or 2 or 0 to any number. So we've done a lot. And it's been a while since we've worked with some 10 frames, but that's what we're going back to today. And we're going to see how much 10 frames can help us in so many different ways. So let's just kind of jump right into this and figure out what we're going to do because it'd be kind of hard for me to just explain. I think it'd be easier if we kind of do this together. You should have a whole bunch of counters for you to use and place on your paper right next to you. If you don't, please hit the space bar on the screen to pause it and then let me know if you don't have counters. Okay, so I'm guessing everyone has counters now. And we're going to kind of just jump in and look at number 1. And we're going to use this 10 frame to help us with every step. So well, the first number we have is 5, right? So let's make 5 on this 10 frame using one color. So the counters you have are red on one side, yellow on the other. So let's go ahead and use that red, the red side, and let's place 5 down. 1, 2. Remember, we start from the left on the top and work our way across. 3, 4, and 5. So we have 5, and let's say that our second number is 1. And now let's use the other color on your counter. So flip them over. So you used red on top. Let's use yellow at the bottom. But I'm going to use blue on here just so it's easier to see. If I use yellow, it might be a little tough to see. And we made a number using the counters on this 10 frame. And we already know from before that if we fill a whole top row, that gives us 5. And if we put any number on the bottom, it adds on to 5, right? So we see a top row, it's filled. So we can say 5, add 1, 6. So 5 plus 1 is 6. But what if we wanted to figure out how many more we need to fill in this 10 frame? Well, what we do is take the number that we made, which was 6, right? And we're going to just bring it right down here. 6 plus what number gives us 10? Well, guess what? We can just count the spaces. So I'm going to put a number in this block as we count. You do not have to do that. I'm doing it so you can see what we're counting. So we're going to start from 1 with the first blank space. Ready? So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So first we made 6 with the counters, right? We made 6. Plus, what number can give us 10 if we want to finish filling the 10 frame? Well, we just counted out 4. Well, that was a little easy because we just used 1 as our first number. Let's go over to number 2 and let's try the same thing but with a different number. Okay, I'll give you a second. Make sure you clear all the counters off your board. Okay, now that we have a clear piece of paper, let's use our counters again. And let's do number 2. So what's our first number? Well, it's 5. So we know exactly how many counters we need to put for our first part, right? So let's fill the top row because we know that the top row has 5 spaces. And what if we were saying 5 plus 2? 5 plus 2. So we have 5 here. How many more do we need to put? Let's use the other side of our counters for the second row. And now we have to make 2. 1, 2. Okay, and now that we made 5 up here and 2 down here, what number did we make? Well, we made number 7, right? Because 5 plus 2 gives us 7. That's what we made in our 10 frame. What if we wanted to figure out how many more spaces we need to fill to make 10? Well, we're going to do the same thing we did over here. We're going to take the number we made, and that's going to go first. I'll plug in that number that we just built with our 10 frame. And now let's count the empty spaces. 1, 2, and 3. So we can put 3 right here. And the new math sentence that we made is 7 plus 3 equals 10. And that's absolutely right. If we add 3 to 7, that will give us 10. Okay, well, let's try another one. Let's clear the board again. Okay, everyone should have a clear board. Take all those counters off to your paper. And let's do the same thing with number 3. So we're going to use the red side of our counters. And how many counters do we have to put? Well, let's start off with 5, right? So go ahead and fill in the top 5 spaces on your 10 frame. And what if we wanted our second number to be 3? Okay, I think we could do that. So go ahead and use the other side of your counters, and let's fill in 3 on the bottom row. Remember, we always start from the left and work our way over to the right. And now that we have 5 on the top and 3 on the bottom, what number did we just make? Well, we know we have 5 up top, right? And we count on from there. So 5, 6, 7, 8. We made 8. Okay, but now we have to figure out how else can this 10 frame help us in figuring out what if we wanted to make 10? And we need to figure out how many more counters we need to add to make 10. Well, let's plug this number over here. Take that number we built in our 10 frame and we put on the next line. So 8 plus what equals 10? Well, if we're not sure, we can go back to our 10 frame and we can count these empty spaces. 1, 2, right? So 8 plus 2 equals 10. How easy is that? Now let's do one more. This one's going to be slightly trickier. So go ahead and clear your board. All right, everyone should have a nice clear piece of paper. And of course, we're going to start the same way we always have, which is this 5 that they wants to fill in our 10 frame. So go ahead with one color, fill in that top row, because we know that the top row of a 10 frame is 5. Okay, and let's say that it's 5 plus 5, right? Bigger number than before. Let's go ahead and fill that in with the other color on the other side of your counters. So we know that there's 5 going all the way across on top. It's the same for the bottom. We're going to fill in all the way across. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have 5 up top, because that was the number that we started with. 5 plus 5, so we filled in the bottom row. And what is 5 plus 5? Well, it is 10, because we know this a couple ways. One, it's a doubles fact. We did doubles facts the other day, and 5 plus 5 is 10. And we also know that when a 10 frame is completely filled in, that it gives us 10. So it's two different ways that we know. And now we have to figure out how many we have to add to 10 to fill in the rest of the 10 frame, which sounds kind of weird, but let's do it together and figure it out. So we're going to take this 10, and we're going to plug it in over here just like we did with all these other ones, right? So 10 plus y equals 10. Let's look back at our 10 frame. Do you see any boxes with no counters in them? No. So if we were using a number line, would we be able to jump over to any spaces to make 10 if we're already at 10? Nope. So guess what? That means we have to put 0. So 10 plus 0 equals 10. We practiced this the other day when we were learning to add numbers plus 0, 1, and 2. So any number plus 0 equals that same number. So 10 plus 0 equals 10. Or if it was 5 plus 0, 5 plus 0 just equals 5. Okay, now everyone, please clear off your papers, and we are going to open up and go to the next page. All right, I'll give everyone just another second to open up to the first page inside your little work mat. All right, and this is going to be so easy because they did the 10 frame for us. The only difference is they didn't make it two different colors. That's all. So let's look at it. In this first one, 5 plus what? Well, they kind of did it for us, but we can look at the 10 frame, and the whole top row is filled in, so that's our 5. The bottom row has 1, 2 counters, so we can go ahead and trace this 2, because that's how many are on the second row. And 5 plus 2 is 7. Now we need to figure out how many more counters we need to make 10. We can plug that number over here, the 7. 7 plus what equals 10? Well, we can look at the boxes and just count them. 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 3. And 7 plus 3 equals 10. Pretty simple. I think you guys are going to get this pretty quick. So go ahead. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to try number 2 all on your own. So go ahead and give that a shot. All right, just another second, and we're going to do this together and make sure we all have the right answer and that we understand what we're doing with these 10 frames. All right, so let's look at this. So the first number we have is 5, and they have that top row filled in. How many are on the second row? Just 1. And 5 plus 1 is, well, that is 6. So if we had a number line, you have a 5 right here. How many spaces are we going to jump? Let's find out. Ready? 5. Jump 1 because we just have a 1. Jump over 1. And we're at 6. So now let's figure out how many more we would have to add to make 10 on our 10 frame. So we take that 6, plug it right over here, and 6 plus what will equal 10? Well, let's just count these empty boxes, and that's going to help us out. This 10 frame just keeps helping and helping. So let's count these spaces. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it'd be 6 plus 4 equals 10. Okay, I'll tell you what. Try number 3 and 4 all on your own, and then we're going to do it together. So go ahead, I'll give you a minute and give those 2 problems a try. All right, I think that might have been enough time for you because I think we're getting through this pretty quick. So let's look at the first part of number 3. So 5, and that top row is filled in. How many do we have on the bottom row? Let's count. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Or we can just look at the bottom row and say, you know what? It's 1 less from being filled, which is 5. So 1 less than 5 is 4. So if we add 5 plus 4, that gives us 9. And let's plug that 9 over here. And how many more counters do we have to fill in to make 10? Well, let's count the empty boxes. Ready? 1. Super quick and easy. So 9 plus 1 equals 10. All right, let's go over to number 4. Again, that gives us 5 to start off with, and the whole top row is filled. How many counters are on the second row? Well, we have 3. 1, 2, 3. We double checked. Yep, there are 3. So 5 plus 3 equals, well, it equals 8. So 5, and counting on, ready? 6, 7, and 8. And we're going to take this 8 because we need to figure out how many more counters we're going to need to make 10. So I'll take that 8, I'll plug it in right over here. 8 plus what equals 10? Let's count these empty boxes. 1 and 2. So 8 plus 2 equals 10. Wasn't that nice and easy? So now I would like you to go on to the next page by yourselves, work on your own, do numbers 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 all on your own. And when you're done that, just let me know, and we might do numbers 11 and 12 together as a class, because I know there's a lot of reading involved in those too. All right, so go ahead, and I'll talk to you all soon.